Hello again, welcome back. This is video number 4 using Krita or Krita, and we're going to look at how to paint an apple in the program. So let me just start with clicking on New File, and you'll notice when you click on New File for the second time or third time, it remembers the last size you chose. So this is the dimensions from the A4 document that I chose previously. I'm just going to leave it on Portrait Orientation and just click on Create. So here's our blank canvas, and I just want to show you the layer for that. So here's layer number 1. This checkerboard pattern that you see here indicates that it's transparent. There's nothing on there, there's no paint at all. So we're going to start off by clicking on the brush tool, which is over here, and then we're just going to choose a dark red color. So I'm just going to go for a nice dark red, maybe something like that. Click OK, and you can see at the top here I'm clicking on the foreground color for the red. If you click on the black and white, it just reverts back to black and white. Black for the foreground, white for the background. And just remember, when you're choosing a color, click on the top one, which is the foreground color, brighten it up, and then go to where your reds are, and then click OK, and you've got the red color. Now, in terms of the brush type, if you click on this little area here, it'll tell you all the different types of brushes. Pardon me. Now, to start off with our apple painting, we're going to click on Basic. This is a hard round brush, and make sure you've got all selected, and just find the one that says Basic, and then you can just click outside of that area, and you've chosen it. You'll notice whichever brush you choose, down the bottom left-hand corner, it actually tells you the name of the brush, right down here. So that's a nice little way of remembering what brush you're on. And now we're beginning our painting of an apple. So you can use your best judgment. I just want to show you a little trick here. If you use the square bracket keys on your keyboard, they're the ones next to the letter P, you can actually make your brush bigger or smaller. Now that's just instead of going up here to where it says size and doing it manually. So the square bracket keys can make your brush bigger and smaller. And then here's my first attempt at drawing the shape of an apple. Okay, it looks a bit like a tomato. So then all I do is fill it in with my dark red and just clean up the edge here. Bit wonky, but that'll do for this exercise. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what an apple looks like, then shame on you. But you can either get a real apple and stick it on your desk next to you and have a look at the way the light hits it and in terms of shadows and highlights. The other option, of course, is you go to Google Images, you find a picture of an apple that you like, and let's just say you like, let's choose this one here. If you like this apple, it's got some highlights and it's got some shadow areas. You basically copy it, right-click the picture, copy it, and then you can paste it straight into Krita. Now, when you do that, you'll get a warning saying what would you like the colors to be for the picture that you're pasting. I just click on As Web, and then you'll notice as soon as you paste something into Krita, it creates a new layer automatically. Now we need to move this to another area so it's not blocking our way. At the moment we've got the brush tool. So to move anything in Krita, you have to click on the Move tool, which is this little baby over here that looks like a cross. Now the shortcut is T. So if you're on the brush tool and you tap on the letter T on your keyboard, it'll automatically choose the Move tool, which lets you move the apple out of the way. And then if you tap on the letter B, you go back to the brush tool. So the reason we have that photo of the apple is to give us some sort of reference. And what we want to do now is add some highlights and some shadow areas. So in order to do this, we need to do one important thing. We need to select the layer for the base art. And then if you move over to the right-hand side, that little symbol there, if you click that on, this is what we call an alpha channel it tells you there, the alpha channel is locked. Now, what does that do? By clicking on that, I'll show you. Let's just say you wanted to paint, the next color was going to be green or yellow, and we'll make a nice bright one. With the alpha channel locked for that layer, it only lets you paint within the area that's already there, the painted area, the painted shape. If it was unlocked, I'll just unlock it now, it just paints over the top. So it's important for this step to, number one, make sure you're on the right layer. Number two, click on that little icon to lock the channel, which basically means you can only paint inside. And then I want you to do this. Choose a light sort of orange pink color, around about there. Click OK, and then change your brush from the basic one to an airbrush soft. And now, and I'll just click outside. Before we start painting with our airbrush, we want to bring down the opacity. If you do make a mistake, just go Command Z on your keyboard or Control Z if you're using a PC. So before we start painting the lighter areas of the apple, which is on the top left-hand side, we're going to bring down the opacity to about 30%. And then at the same time, we'll bring up the size of the brush. Make it fairly big. And then start painting, just do some swipes with your mouse or your pen until you get this lighter area appearing on the left-hand side, top left. Change the color now to a warmer yellow, and then keep going over the top. Now that's too dark, so I'm just going to undo that twice, Command Z twice. Bring the opacity down a bit more. So, you know, if you don't like what you've done, you can always go Command Z and undo it. I might just bring the opacity down to even 10%. All right, so now that's warming up the left-hand side of the apple. To get the shadow area, I would change the color into a darker red. I might even go into the blues. A really dark blue like that. Now, you're probably wondering, blue for shadow? Well, the color experts tell us that if your shadows are cool colors, then your highlights should be warm, and vice versa. So in this case, I've got my shadow area is like a bluey red, and my highlight area is a warm yellowy red color. I'm just going to go now and change my colors again. I'll choose an even lighter color, almost a white, and just touch that up a bit more. And look, you're probably thinking it doesn't really look like an apple. I'm just playing around now. It does have a soft feel because I'm using the airbrush tool. Let's introduce another color now. Let's introduce a green. And the opacity is still on 10%, which is good. And now we've got this sort of greeny red. Now, if I want more red, let's say I've overdone it with the green and I want to go and put some more red over the top, I could go back to the foreground color and choose red, or I can hold down the Command key and sample a red that's already on the screen. So from the photo, I can sample red, or from my painting, I can sample red, and it changes the color automatically. So that's something to remember. And then you can go back over the green with a bit more red. I could even switch those around and then come back with some more white. So it's just a combination of painting over the top, blending the colors, and then you've got something that resembles more or less the shape of an apple. You can see the form is coming together. What I want to do now is add these hot spots. And so I might just hold down the space bar and the Command key together and zoom in. You can see how I do that, and you can see, there you go there. Now the hot spots appear around about here. For that we want a white, so let's brighten it up and go down to the middle of this circle and choose a whitish color or an off-white. Now notice the size of my brush. I'm going to start with the opacity down at 10%, by doing a single click around about here, just a single click with my mouse. Actually, maybe a few clicks. Now I'm going to reduce the size of my brush and keep clicking. Reduce the size again and keep clicking. Now, I don't know if you can see what's happening, but as I reduce the size of the brush, I get this like hot spot appearing. Let's try that again in reverse. So we start small and we'll click over here and then make the brush a bit bigger. Keep clicking. So it doesn't matter which direction you go in terms of brush size. You can go from big to small or small to big. But every time you click in the same spot, you get more paint, and that creates the illusion of this hot spot. So have a practice with that. See if you can draw a better apple than I have. And then we'll come back and do another video after that. Best of luck. Bye-bye.